Welcome to Module 5. My name is Dr. Ardalowskaya, and I hope you are still enjoying this course so far. In this module, we are going to cover AI-based cyberattacks versus traditional cyberattacks. In other words, AI-based cybersecurity versus traditional cybersecurity. As you are all aware, cybersecurity is constantly evolving. Attackers are using more and more sophisticated ways to harm their victims, and now AI is also introducing a new era of threats. Traditional cybersecurity is still posing a significant risk, where AI-based attacks offer several advantages. When we look at the current landscape of cybersecurity, we see more sophisticated and targeted attacks. AI is started to be used. State-sponsored attacks, nation-states are getting more and more active. There is no single week on the news that we see a fortune company or a government had a ransomware issue. After the pandemic, we started to work remotely, and remote work explosion it started to becoming more common. When we look the last 5 years, IoT attacks are getting more and more visible. I think from 2022 to 2023, there was 400% increase on IoT attacks. Supply chain attacks are getting more popular. There is a huge skills gap. Data is all of the 0-day exploits are there. The governments or the regulators are started pushing now defenders as well. Long story short, cybersecurity is a very challenging environment with the traditional tools. So we hope AI is going to make things better. When we look at AI-based cyber attacks, they are usually different from traditional cyber attacks in several ways. As you learned by now, AI technologies can be used to automate and enhance various aspects of cyber attacks, making them even more sophisticated, even harder to detect, and unfortunately more effective. When we look at the current cyber security landscape, remember, it's complex, dynamic, constantly evolving, and organizations as well as individuals has no way then prioritize cybersecurity with a focus on a practice defense strategies, continuous monitoring, and a mindset of resilience. And hopefully this course is helping you already to do that. So, traditional cyber attacks versus AI cyber attacks. It's clear that there is a paradigm shift in the threat defense. We will compare traditional rule-based approaches against AI-powered ones, uncovering their strengths, weaknesses, the implications for staying ahead of cyber attacks. So, what are traditional cyber attacks? Traditional cyber attacks are usually manually executed by hackers. Of course, there's some sort of automation as well. These attacks require mostly human intervention in order to be executed. I think I don't have to give you many examples. You are fully aware of phishing, scams, malware, social engineering, and so on. Traditional cyber attacks are often easier to identify and prevent compared to AI-based. Today, traditional cyber attacks or traditional cybersecurity is usually still focused on having a solid endpoint protection, having firewalls, IDS, IPS, monitoring the traffic, matching file against unknown bad patterns. But it's clear that this is not working because today it's all about defining what isn't allowed and stopping it. However, this approach struggles with the dynamism and scale of modern threats. So, ask yourself, is detection protection? If it is, why are still most of the billion-dollar industry endpoint products not helping you well? That's why we at Exitium, we don't just rely on detection. So this is a different topic which we'll cover later. Back to AI versus traditional cyber attacks. How can we defend against the known or unknown? Most of the security products rely on signatures, known malware patterns, rule-based systems like firewalls, intrusion detection. Static defenses focus on blocking defined threats, and all these are requiring manual updates by security teams. I would highly recommend you to check Exitium, because at Exitium, all this is past technology. We have patent new technology which is waiting for you to discover. So, to prove that the current traditional cybersecurity is not working, I'm just going to share a statistics which we've been recently shared by World Economic Forum. So, cybercrime expected to skyrocket in the coming years even more. When we look at the numbers, the estimated cost of cybercrime worldwide is getting higher. It reached first $1 trillion in 2019. Currently, last year in 2023, it reached $11 trillion. This is expected to jump 14.5 and so on in the upcoming years. So, it's clear that there are limitations with current traditional cybersecurity. So, why do old rules fail? Traditional systems are like a castle with a fixed set of defenses. If attackers find a new way in, those defenses are useless. The sheer volume of data breaches demonstrate this model is under immense pressure. We need much more intelligent defenses because 0 days, malware are still pain in the neck. The volume overload is hard to handle. Unfortunately, most of those products are not productive. And we as defenders trying to always playing the catch-up game. Alright, I think you mostly understand what a traditional cybersecurity is and how traditional cyber attacks work. What about AI-based cyber attacks? AI-based cyber attacks utilize, as we know, artificial intelligence and machine learning to automate the attack patterns or the process. A good example of AI-based cybersecurity includes deepfakes, which we covered in this course, botnet, ransomware, which we also demonstrated together with Valentin, the possible impacts for you. These attacks are more difficult to detect and prevent compared to traditional cyber attacks. So, AI-based cybersecurity, the adaptive advantage. Security that learns from evolves. AI fundamentally changes the game. Instead of rigid rules, AI-based cybersecurity is about detecting what wrong looks like, even if it's never been seen before. It analyzes massive datasets, finding patterns humans couldn't and can act with greater speed and precision when threats emerge. So, we all know AI is there to replace humans or to enhance humans. And I still believe, at least in cybersecurity, AI is going to enhance our defense capabilities. So, AI-based cyber attacks use AI to perform malicious actions, while traditional cyber attacks use human. What else? We learned that AI-based cyber attacks can use machine learning, natural language process, deepfake technology, evolutionary computation algorithms to create even more sophisticated, adaptive, and stealthy attacks, which is making, unfortunately, detection even harder. What else did we cover? AI-based cyber attacks can learn from past incidents and identify patterns and anomalies in network traffic or user behavior. So the learning is really key here to prevent even further damages. On the other hand, traditional cyber attacks rely still on rules, signatures that might not cover all possible scenarios. What else did I cover? AI-based cyber attacks can use defensive AI to detect and respond to attacks in real life, using data analysis and patterns recognition to identify threats to take appropriate actions. Finally, but not least, AI-based cyber attacks can generate unique encryption keys, negotiation with victims without getting any human interaction, without having the language barrier. While traditional cyber attacks may be limited to availability of known vulnerabilities or tools. And as we learned in chapter 1, AI-based cyber attacks can use Gen AI or generative AI to create new encryption keys, bypass antivirus software, impersonate legitimate users, or using entities of natural language generation and deepfake technology. So, it's very clear that AI is not a tool. It is more than a tool. It is a resource that we're going to use. So, who's gonna win the game? Human or traditional? Traditional cybersecurity as a human or AI cybersecurity? The shield that we used for years or the power of computers? There is a huge paradigm shift. Remember, AI isn't just another tool. It represents a fundamental change in how we approach cybersecurity. AI can be used hybridly, together with the modern cybersecurity solutions, which combines the best of both sides. And of course, both of them still requires continuous development. The cybersecurity landscape is in arms of race. Both AI-based cyber defenses and the AI capabilities of attackers are still evolving. Here is a nice chart which compares AI-based cyber attacks versus traditional cyber attacks. When it comes to speed and automation, AI-based cyber attacks is for sure much faster, more accurate, where traditionally it's still limited to speed and scale of human, used by automation. AI-based cyber attacks can be highly targeted, uses AI to gather information and identify specific vulnerabilities. Remember, the more data you have, the better AI you have. AI can adapt and evolve to evade detection using AI to bypass traditional security measures. Let's assume AI found out there is a vulnerability in your endpoint security product. AI can help generate a malware to bypass the 0-day or an attack vector or you name it. Traditionally, the target specificity is less targeted, still relying on detailed recon and generic tactics. Of course, traditional cybersecurity is easier to detect, and as long as you have you don't have the signature, you are more likely in trouble. Software engineering, we covered that before. It's better with AI-based cyber attacks, unfortunately, where human-based software engineering still relies on generic templates and is still not as effective. Data manipulation, using AI to enhance AI versus human to enhance AI. Let's see what's going to happen. I really don't know, but I just put it in here into the table so you have it in front of you. You can download the slides and hopefully enhance your own knowledge. Skill level required, of course. These days, all what you have to do is sign up for an AI and then rely on AI to help you do most of your tasks. Where traditional cyber attacks, remember, we have a huge cybersecurity skills gap. I wrote 18 books, which has been translated to five languages. There is lots of books available, lots of trainings available, but the skills gap is still huge. Cost, AI can be more expensive at the moment, as the need for AI expertise and resources, where traditional cyber attacks are still cheaper and less expensive to implement, but it requires more technical expertise to execute efficiently. All right, what are the advantages of traditional cyber attacks? Traditional cyber attacks are simple, require less technical expertise to execute. And additionally, traditional cyber attacks do not require significant computing power compared to AI-based cyber attacks. So, this is the only 3 points which I could count. But what else is there? AI-based cyber attacks have some advantages over traditional cyber attacks, as we are trying to cover this. These attacks can be executed at scale without much human intervention. So, you can have, just imagine a SOC analyst who had a bad day at home. That person feels sick. He or she had a fight with the partner. The kids have issues. Their job is at risk. While going to work, they had an accident. And now that SOC analyst is at the SOC center trying to monitor incidents. We all guess that it's going to be much harder for that person to focus on the work because of the humanity, right? Like feeling bad day sometimes is focusing less to work, where AI is not going to have any of these issues. Of course, AI is going to fully rely on power and power data, but I hope you see what I'm trying to say. So, AI-based cyber attacks are more sophisticated, and it's usually getting in a stage that unfortunately it's gonna start harming us. So, is there any challenges and considerations that you need to be aware? Keep in mind, AI is not a silver bullet. It's powerful, but it has still lots of challenges. We need massive amounts of quality data for training. AI can inherit biases existing in datasheets. Most importantly, AI tools need security experts to interpret and validate their findings. When we compare those two, we see that there are still some issues in both sides. AI-based cyber attacks are becoming more prevalent. Both traditional and AI cyber attacks pose significant threats to organizations and, of course, individuals. To prevent and detect cyber attacks, a multi-layered approach is required. This includes, and most importantly, I want to highlight user education, cybersecurity awareness. But this is not enough. On top of it, you have to implement security best practices. On top of it, you have to utilize using security technologies. I wish cybersecurity companies would be more transparent to tell how many breaches they had during the year. And they would just imagine, I want to give you this example. So before you buy a car, you can always simply Google, find out how many recalls, or use the search engine, find out how many recalls that car had, how many faults that car had, and you can see the security ratings. But when it comes to cybersecurity, you rely on Gartner or EY or some paid resources. So those, like for example, as Executive, I have to pay Gartner to analyze my product and get an opinion. So if I don't want to pay Gartner, then, or I don't have the budget for Gartner, then I'm not going to be in Ghana, and maybe you're going to miss out on those great tools. But if you had the opportunity to go to a forum which is totally transparent and find out how many incidents happened last year and how many of them was because of the problems in the product. Anyway, this is something to talk in the future. So, here's my last question, or my last comment about in this module. The best defense isn't about AI replacing humans, but about AI augmenting the ability to see threats faster, react decisively, and stay a step ahead in this ever-evolving landscape. Thank you for watching this chapter, and here's my last question. Is the future human or AI collaboration? What do you think? Please let us know. Thank you very much. See you at Module 6. Valentin will cover that for you.